Hey, what's up, guys? It is Rapmark here. So, doing my review of episode 5 of Andor called The Axe Forgets. And let me tell you, I am very much enjoying the series. This series, again, it feels real. It feel like these people, the characters feel real. You actually care about them. I like the writing, the story, the dialogue. It seemed like it honestly feels like something that like this show is something that I've been wanting from a Star Wars show for a long time. And don't get me wrong, like there are good shows. Like I love The Mandalorian. I love like the Clone Wars. I love yeah, I mean there's a lot that I do like that, it's not necessarily meant for adults. This one definitely strikes me as something more akin to like grown-ups, people who actually grew up with Star Wars, like the original trilogy, the prequel trilogy, you know, on that level. But at the same time, it doesn't feel like Star Wars yet still because you don't have the elements that are usually in part of Star Wars. I mean, this is dealing with literally like nitty gritty stuff and like the start of the rebellion. We have yet to see a stormtrooper. We've seen Imperial officers. Um, we've seen intelligence agents. But yeah, I love it. It feels like it's treating, people who grew up with Star Wars, with a certain level of respect and that the a certain amount of intelligence. Like again, like last episode, it's just like they literally put in a Imperial Intelligence Office's budget meeting, and it was actually really entertaining. So one of the things I have been hearing about this is they feel like it is a slow burn, and I mean, it is. It is kind of a slow burn, and I kind of disagree the way they're releasing it. I don't think it really works with one episode a week in terms of the way this show has worked because it literally feels like the first three episodes were one, and it looks like the next three episodes are going to be two. It looks like the episode 6 is going to be like the payoff, and yeah, it doesn't really have the same flows as like a serialized uh, episode, where you have a beginning, a build up, and end, in an episode. There's a lot of build up here. And like I said, I personally am loving it, but I definitely would have preferred them to actually have, release 3 episodes at a time rather than this one episode a week. Because I do feel that it doesn't go well with that. That being said, the stuff that's out, and if anyone wants to wait until like the full series comes out and then just burn it through, like like so far with what I've seen in this series, this is an amazing series. I am actually loving this so much. I mean, again, like with this one, you're dealing with Cassian, going as Clem. He is literally dealing with, the rebels and their distrust of him because again, he just showed up. They know nothing about him, and he has just an inherent distrust of anyone, which doesn't really help. And this builds up to a climax where one of them, like, literally puts a knife to his throat and finds out that it's just like, what are you doing with the 30,000 unit or credit stone? Because it's a sky kyber crystal that he was given. Um, and yeah, it goes in a place I wasn't like he he fesses up to it. He's just like, I'm here for the money. I'm being paid, and it's the one thing that he was told not to do, but it worked in this case because again, everyone's on edge, and you can see that. Like you don't need to be told that. I mean, there's numerous things that show how on edge they are, and he just doesn't want them to use him as an excuse not to do this. It's just like, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be on the level with you. Let's do this is essentially what I got. And it's amazing. Like it built like again, Cassian is sort of established as someone who does stuff for money, but will do the right thing if it works for him. Like he's someone who is a well-intentioned person, but sometimes bad stuff just happens, and yeah, it shows. And I love how they're building up these characters. Like again, people, I feel that a lot of people, they're just waiting for the next action scene, and they don't get like they don't care about the characters, and that's but I love the characters. I love the world building. The world building is so good in this show. Like, each and every single like every team member's like story, who they are as a person, even if you don't know all their stories, but you know enough about them to actually care about them. And there's tension there because you don't know, if anyone's going to die, and it adds tension because these are not people that are in usual Star Wars canon, and that builds and there's drama that feels real. It doesn't feel forced. It doesn't feel like it's just pushing plot along. Like again, it feels like a lived-in world. Like, and I think they do so well, even with the dialogue. Like, you don't have to always like they do very well, especially with Cassian, as he's trying to be intentionally vague because there's again he was told like he's a mercenary and he doesn't want them to know. Neither did Luthen, um, and just the things he says, the stories he tells, and man, I love it. Like the biggest person he talks with is Skeen. He tells him about his tattoos and stuff like it's cool. And at some point, Vel and Cinta go off and do their own thing. We don't know what they're doing. We'll probably find that out next episode. But yeah, they're going to essentially they're going off. The planning phase is over. It is now going to the objective and getting ready to do this, which is cool. And I actually really enjoyed it. Like, and again, you have this scene where a TIE fighter comes in at low level, kind of show them who's boss. And, they're hiding all this weaponry. But yeah, I mean, it's cool. Like, it again, like, shows things in a realistic way, not an over the top way, not in a way that, treats its audience like it's stupid. It feels very real. And that's something I just don't feel that we've been getting from a lot of Star Wars shows lately. So anyway, there's some scenes where they show Lieutenant Gorn. You get his story, and it makes sense. It makes sense, and it's just like, all right, this guy, I guess, is the real deal, and it shows, him setting things up, light, lighter garrison in a certain area, allowing people to, go see the eye. It's small stuff. It's small stuff that a lot of shows and even like movies they leave out, or that it's either mentioned in a throwaway line from another character or in some form of exposition. But no, this show does a great job of showing the small things, which I am actually really enjoying. Um, and I'll be the first to admit, when this show was first announced, I'm just like, I didn't think much of it, and yet this is turning out to be one of my favorite Star Wars shows that I've ever seen. So anyway, there's two other small things. You have Karn. He and his relationship with his mother, and he's trying to explore new career prospects. I don't know where it's going, but man, the drama between those two like is so real. Like anyone who's had certain resentments of their mother, lived with their mother. I mean, I certainly have. We're getting along fine. Me and my mom, we've made our peace long ago. But no, like anyone who's dealt with that can relate to Karn. Like he does a great job of it, just like of having just an overbearing mother who makes him feel like crap, and just like he's not worth anything. And it's, I don't know, just display that again. I don't know where they're going with him, because at the end of the show he looks into a sort of imager that again is showing his face from when he was hunting him. Um, so yeah, we'll see. And then you have Miro again, back at the Intelligence Services Bureau. Belvin, he's acquired a hotel at Barracks. Um, but Miro and her assistant, they are literally going round the clock trying to figure out what is going on. If like she has a gut instinct, but she's trying to find proof that this is a rebellion in the works. So I don't know where that's going to go, or if it's going to influence like next episode, but we will see. And I'm very excited to see with it. You get Mon Mothma again, and her daughter is introduced, and man, she just gives her a bunch of shit. And again, her husband is like, they are two different peas in a pod as you could ever imagine, and who knows how it all will play out. But yeah, I don't know. I don't like the husband very much. I mean, I like the character, but the way the character, it's like Joffrey. Everyone hates him, but everyone acknowledges that he did a good job at his character. Is what I mean. And by Joffrey, I mean from Game of Thrones. Anyway, yeah, like she's starting a new charitable foundation. Didn't mention to him because I guess he's not into charities. He's just in it for the money, whatever. And that's going to be her new vehicle for transferring funds to the rebels. So we'll see on that. Um, and then you see Luthen, and again you get the sense of tension. It's just like he's worried about the team. Like this is a big thing coming up, and his assistant is just like, it's in their hands now, and he needs to just calm down and just see what happens. Whatever happens at this point. It's in the team's hands. So Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I am really loving this show. I like this episode a lot because despite of the lack of action, it made me really love the characters because each character feels like it's going somewhere. You know, even if it doesn't show where it's going. Like I don't mind that because it builds them up as characters that you get more emotionally attached to. And yes, I get that it is a slower burn. I do get that complaint. I don't mind so much, but I do think that Disney should have adjusted its release plan to like release 3 episodes in a month or 3 weeks or whatever, or even a week. I don't know, but the way this show is structured, it doesn't conduct well with just a serialized like 1 episode a week. So I do agree with that complaint, but I still think this is a great show, and honestly, people should be watching it. It is actually really good. Good on the drama, good in the world building, good in the acting. The actors are so good. The writing is great. Like I am absolutely loving this show. Like what would I give this episode? Um Honestly, I would give this episode a 9. I'd totally give this episode a 9 because I loved the world building within it. I loved the drama. I loved the act. There wasn't not action, but the acting. Um, I like the scenarios. I like the characters. I'm liking the worlds. I'm liking the situation. There's so much I'm liking. The only thing I don't like, and the only thing that keeps this from a 10, is that it's literally just the way they've structured the release order. Once a week. I'm already excited for the next episode, which I'll be able to see less than once a week. Um, that'll be released sometime this week. But yeah, like I get the complaint on how this feels like a slow burn. But yeah, we'll see how things develop with that. Anyway, so like I said, 9 out of 10 for this episode. Great episode. Um, so anyway, I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you guys next time. So see ya.